Hello, Australia. So sorry I couldn't be with you again on this trip, but we hope to appear soon. So thank you so much, Leah, for the lovely words. I have to agree, working with a team is really important because I want to see that you have a safe journey. And CFC and Create and Hope Springs are an amazing team. They will tell you, even though we work closely together, I remain independent as a lawyer, so I have your backs at all times. And so I call the Create team and I call the CFC team, and sometimes I have to yell at them. And they don't like it much, but I'm here to take care of you, as a lawyer should. So Leah said a lot of things that I won't repeat that I agree with in terms of the safety of your journey in the legal context. But I have to say I don't agree with her with respect to doing an independent journey, especially when you're a foreigner. And any time that you want to have a private call with me, I'm happy to share my journey, which was independent, my first journey, and 14 years later is still known as the worst one in Canada. So I wouldn't have done it if I had had a choice. And my second journey was with CFC, and it was an amazing one for my second daughter. Um, the legal scape in Canada is really, really safe. We are governed by two levels of government, essentially. At the federal level, the one piece of legislation that we have covers all aspects of assisted human reproduction technology. But for your purposes, what's relevant is that donors and recipients be 18 and surrogates 21, and that you are not allowed to pay these remarkable women. They are entitled to be reimbursed by you, and any expense they incur for the journey, whether it's food or internet, loss of income, companions' expenses to accompany them to a transfer, screening, or donor retrieval, all of that is perfectly legal for you to reimburse them, and an agency will cover and take care of all of the reimbursements. There must be receipts and declarations, so it's very complicated for you to do it without that help. And if you can afford to do surrogacy, it's probably because you're working really long hours. So think about the time you have to do this safely. And really, unlike planning a wedding day, sorry, Leah, I just don't agree with you. This is not just one day, this is creating a life and doing it safely. So, the other set of authority we have in Canada is the provincial authority, and our provinces have jurisdiction over issues of birth registration. So every province has its own legislation, but essentially they're consistent in that virtually everyone can be a parent over 18. But how long it takes to do the paperwork, what you say in the paperwork, whether it's a court order or it's administrative only, will depend on each province. Leah asked me to specifically address Quebec. In Quebec, the legislation permits the registration of the surrogate only, of the biological father only, or the two of them only. So for most couples, it's not the best, it's not the ideal situation. For Australians, if you are in a couple, the non biological partner or the heterosexual couple, the woman will not be on that birth certificate. That there is hope that it's going to change in a few years. So if you're single, it is a phenomenal place for you. So let the agency know immediately that you're single and you'll take a surrogate in Quebec. And with an agency, it's super safe. Again, I would never recommend an independent journey with a surrogate in Quebec because the law does not recognize the agreement. So that's just asking for trouble. In my own experience out there, I have to say that most surrogates are remarkable women, giving, caring, generous, sincere, and as frightened of all of this as you may be, but also as excited. But there are a handful of scammers, and if you're doing this on your own, you must be wary because nobody's filtering them. Amongst the agencies, there's a lot of talk, and everybody knows. So that's in terms of the legal situation here. Some provinces also require that at least one of the parents have a genetic connection, so it's important to speak to the lawyer about all of that. And then I also want to talk to you about some immigration issues. Your child born in Canada will automatically be Canadian, but you're going to have to give it Australian citizenship as well. During COVID, no foreigner was allowed into your country. So the arrangement was made to go to the Australian embassy here in Canada and fill out your paperwork. Now that's open again. You can do it back at home, but many people are choosing to do it here because it's quicker. Our embassy is not that busy, so it adds maybe one more day to your stay in Canada. In terms of how long that stay may be, by the way, if Hope Springs is your council, you're looking at 2 to 2.5 weeks to get back on that plane. Otherwise, I would recommend that you plan for 3 to 4 weeks post birth. Um, so I think I've covered virtually all of the legal aspects that pertains exclusively to the fertility part of this. There's two other things I want to address quickly. One is you'll need newborn health insurance, and the other is that you should start planning your wills. So if God forbid you pass away while your surrogate's pregnant, we're going to have a big problem. The law says that you will be the parent, so your wills should be in place before the transfer, and there should be a guardian who will come to Canada. So that person should know what you're doing. That guardian will act in your shoes to register the birth and take the baby home. So that's about it for the time that we have. I hope that you found this informative and that you'll send us an email so that we can have a longer conversation with you privately. Thank you again and hope to see you soon. Bye.